I've got a story I want to tell you about a church in Stockholm, Sweden called the Seafarers Church. It's a Christian church, of course, but its bishop, Eva Brun, wants to take down the crosses. Instead, she actually wants to mark the direction to Mecca so that Muslim migrants can use the church and pray to Mecca and not be offended by anything too churchy. It's a real story. Here it is in a Stockholm newspaper. The bishop says she wants the church to be more like a bus station or an airport with a non-denominational lounge, except that, of course, it would have directions pointing to Mecca, just no crosses. So by non-denominational, she really means to turn the church into a mosque. It's a cute little church near Stockholm's free port. Surely the church is more than a century old, and in the end, it is being snuffed out not by the government, not by a war, not even by Muslim migrants, but by a church guardian who is no longer guarding anything. She is undermining it. Like Angela Merkel, the Chancellor of Germany, Bishop Brun so detests her own culture and history, she wants to hand it over to whomever without a fight, without even a request. It's strange. I mean, Bishop Brun is a lesbian activist. Does she not know what Muslim fundamentalists do to uncovered women, let alone to lesbians? Does she think her half step towards turning her church into a mosque will end there? Does anyone care about the West anymore? It's a bizarre question to ask. The West, by that I mean Western civilization, is the moral apex of man's entire history. I don't just mean the economic apex, the scientific apex. I mean, it's a place where slavery has been abolished, where women have been emancipated, where tolerance for different religions and races is the norm. Its economic success has had a great moral impact too. Western capitalism has created so much wealth that even a poor person in the West lives as a 1%er would in the third world, let alone the fact that the West gives aid to other peoples. But that's the thing about luxury and wealth and leisure. It can turn to purposelessness and sloth and then to self-loathing. 75 years ago, Europe fought and tens of millions of Europeans died to preserve Western culture, to stop a master race from dominating others, to stop an authoritarian regime from destroying liberal democracy. Once again, we have a master race. It calls itself a master religion now. I'm talking about radical Islam. It is authoritarian in the most theocratic forms, and it most certainly does not believe in liberal democracy. But instead of fighting now, Europe runs to surrender. The Germans call it Selbsthass, self-hatred. Europe's got it in droves. Let me switch continents for a moment. The second president of the United States, John Adams, once wrote a letter to his wife, Abigail, about why he fought, about why he supported war. Here, let me quote him. It's just 3 sentences. "I must study politics and war that my sons may have liberty to study mathematics and philosophy. My sons ought to study mathematics and philosophy, geography, natural history, naval architecture, navigation, commerce, and agriculture in order to give their children a right to study painting, poetry, music, architecture, statuary, tapestry, and porcelain." Let me tell you what my point is. Here's a guy who valued liberty so much, he helped George Washington start a revolution, an actual war for freedom in which tens of thousands of Americans were killed. John Adams said that it was so his sons could focus on just becoming prosperous and his grandsons could be artists and poets. I'm sure that many Europeans spoke that way in the 1940s. Maybe not so much in neutral Sweden, but all around it. Maybe Churchill spoke that way. Maybe de Gaulle spoke that way. They must fight war so their sons and daughters could become prosperous and their grandsons and granddaughters could study painting, poetry, and music. But then what? What if the strong generation is gone? What if anyone who knows how to fight is dead or old and ignored? What if no one around still remembers how high a price was paid for that little Seafarers Church to even be allowed to be free? And so its current accidental guardians throw it all away, like someone who finds a priceless pearl on the beach and throws it back into the ocean not knowing its worth. That is all of Europe, a continent drenched with so much blood in a centuries-long quest to be free. A continent in which so many generations sacrificed to build a civilization of peace and prosperity and liberalism, but now they're just giving it up to the world's most aggressive civilization, radical Islam. But hey, they've got that Western politeness, don't they? They don't even need to be asked to take down the crosses in their churches. They'll volunteer in advance. For the Rebel.media, I'm Ezra Levant.